nullify the size. And for Griffin Bruno, he had just enough technique to be able to do that.
Now we're going to see Mickey Sanchez versus John Cooper.
See Sanchez move on here, and the smaller guys will move into the spotlight there. But
now I'm going to talk to a guy who's probably very happy with his athlete.
It was close, very close.
Yeah, I knew that time was going to be close there. Griff's escapes are good. Luckily, I mean, one thing is, like I actually mentioned in one of Wes's earlier matches, Wes has a very similar style, top style to a lot of our guys. So Griff is actually, I mean, as comfortable as you can be in that mount under jack position, getting elbows back in. And
winner of this moves on to the championship to face Griffin Bruno. Fighting out of the blue corner with an NLC grappling record of 1-0, standing 5'2", 160 pounds, from Category 5 Jiu-Jitsu in Hurricane, West Virginia, Mickey Sanchez! Fighting out of the red corner with an NLC record of 6-0-1, fighting out of Butch, Hiles, Jiu-Jitsu in Charleston, West Virginia, the NLC middleweight grappling champion, Jonathan Cooper!
yeah, and one thing I was going to say too is that Griff also happens to be very adept at defending and escaping the Tarico Plata, which when we saw Wes elect for a Tarico Plata finish instead of a classic Kimura finish, I think that I think Griffin being particularly prepared for that specific finishing method really helped him out there.
This is a matchup I really, really like. I think we're going to see some high-level jiu-jitsu here.
I'm going to guess that these two have probably met competition before, just based on how much I've seen them both at Butch's tournaments.
In 5 minutes, up on the stage.
I've never gotten to grapple with Sanchez myself, but I believe he's trained with Lee Keaton, one of my guys. And Lee was always impressed with his abilities. And again, Lee's not somebody who's super impressed with very many people. So
I think Mickey is a guy that you can sleep on him. He's a guy you end up, he's in your bracket, you think hey, he's going to be an easy win. And we saw in that last match, he's definitely not.
We see him doing a good job keeping his elbows tight, denying that scoop grip on the far leg right now, keeping hips back.
Like, you know, I used to be a guard player myself. Sometimes I wish that John would wrestle a little bit.
Yeah, it's tough though, especially when you're in short time. You know, you've only got a 6-minute match to make stuff happen. Now we see him playing a little bit of like an underhook, reverse de la Hiva, almost kind of stuff. He fell back at the legs, but it looks to me like in this particular position, Sanchez doing a good job coming up on top and actually getting a pass almost in the transition. But
John has actually come a long way since we first saw him here at New Line. Since I first rolled with him even. He was a guy who was, at one point, he was so uncomfortable on top that he would concede top position when he was in a great spot just because he liked being off his back, liked fighting off his back. I remember it would drive Butch crazy.
yeah, I know a little bit about that myself.
He would
modern guard players with a coach that was, from the Butch era. I was like, God, Lee, stay on top, man.
He would be in full mount and he would roll to his back. Like things like that when he first started, but now we see John's developed into a really crafty.
Not often you see it go back to standing.
He's a crafty, meticulous grappler, and now we're going to see John wrestle a little bit.
Yeah, and we saw he actually initiated that stand-up. Now he's trying to maybe hit a cross snap. There's that Sasai that we saw earlier.
That was really good
almost
work.
Turned it into a more Dayashi, but yeah, that was beautiful. That's that same foot sweep that he tried on Dalton Moss.
And Dalton Moss has got an excellent base, so he almost got Dalton with it. It's you really get to see how pretty his technique with that is.
John doing a good job sneaking back that butterfly hook in to get back to butterfly half. Now he's maybe able to make a transition to a false reap here. That's what he's trying for. The interesting thing will be to see if he can clear his leg and get it to hit that kind of Kani Basami type action. But he loses the knee line in the process. And a good pass. Sanchez takes advantage. We'll see if he can actually settle and control here.
Great work from Mickey Sanchez.
Still 3 minutes left to work here. But we see that, again, that good north-south Granby style retention or inversion, depending on what nomenclature you prefer. But another good pass. But he's not able to get that underhook on the far side, so we in that this kind of a dogfight position here.
And And John might be able to take the back here.
Yeah.
But I don't think Sanchez is going to let him do it. He's going to not concede that position.
Yeah.
Nice scramble here.
Good use of the wizard to stop the back take and good base to stop the plan B there. That's the the old school and plan B are the two.
And it's interesting, as much as John hates wrestling, this guy's style is forcing him to get up and wrestle a little more.
Yeah. And this is an interesting battle of attrition where I think Jonathan has probably been using more energy than Sanchez, but I don't know that I can say that for certain, but it would appear so. We see him going for that false reap again. Mickey doing a good job of elevating that leg.
Oh, bad position here for Sanchez, but it looks like he's going to get his leg out. He's not very deep.
Yeah, he's got the knee line free, I do believe. So now he's actually looking to make a transition over to the secondary leg. Now, if he's going to that secondary leg, he's going to have to go single leg X, which means he needs to free the bottom leg. And now we see him maybe going false reap again. We got his foot stuck in the shorts there.
Nice attempt at a sweep there.
Yeah, that was a good generation of off balance with that Sumigaeshi to get back up to his feet. Now I'm getting pretentious. I said Sumigaeshi instead of butterfly sweep. Sorry. Even I think that one makes me sound like
Yeah. I think we should use all the Eddie Bravo terms.
Nice slur by.
He's got him in the Jew claw.
I do use the Eddie Bravo terms when we get into the 10th planet position. It's important to know, you got to know the Japanese words and the exact opposite of them. As a little
John goes for a little Imanari
yeah,
roll
a
there.
little Imanari action.
We call that the dancing pineapple.
You don't see many Imanari rolls successfully completed. I finished one in a grappling match. I was able to sweep Hunter with it, but I wasn't able to get his
I
leg.
feel like guys are getting wise to it.
Yeah. And this, as guys get better defensively, your setups have to get more intricate, and I don't think many people actually have good developed systems. The Imanari roll, they think of it as like a special move in Street Fighter. You just kind of throw, you know what I mean?
It was taking the MMA world by storm for a while, the Imanari roll. Look at Ryan Hall, but then I think you see guys learn to deal with it.
Yeah, those
and it can be really dangerous once a guy's learned how to combat it.
Yeah, there's a time and a place for it. Oh, we see an attempt there at a foot sweep from Jonathan. And then another one back.
That being said, I really enjoyed watching Ryan Hall compete in the UFC.
Yeah.
Because he was his style was so unique, and it's because of that.
Now we've got a potential go-go plata, but we've only got 2 seconds.
And we'll see our second overtime here.
I had a feeling we might see overtime in this one. These guys are very evenly matched. Really good, good semifinal matchup right here between Cooper and Sanchez. And I think a lot of us thought Wes Thompson was going to be in that final match.
Yeah, I to be honest, I thought Griff might be able to keep him on his feet and tire him out a little bit more. Luckily, Griff's defensive acumen carried him through regulation.
You saw the strength advantage that Wes had when he dragged him
once
to
he
the
got
mat
into
there.
the cage, yeah.
And that's what we were talking about, Dave and I, while you were in there coaching. It's like, imagine facing a guy not only stronger, more athletic than you, big strength advantage, but also he's a black belt.
We see Jonathan.
And you're a purple belt.
We see Jonathan going for that face crush aggressively.
And you see Sanchez staying tough. He's fighting the hands just like he should be, but he's got to address that. That's the thing with when John Cooper ends up in these overtime rounds, he's got those long legs. He can get that body triangle. It's so hard to deal with.
Yeah, and I think the whole world gained a new appreciation for the danger of the face crank. He wisely switches the body triangle to the top side in that Robert Whitaker and Hamzat fight. Like,
we used to, back in the day, we used to always finish it. I think early when you were training, people thought it was a dick move at first. Yeah. Like they were like, the choke's over my face. You shouldn't be doing that. Get a clean choke. Yeah. But then you realize that's an effective submission.
I kind of felt that way myself until I actually got to train with Nicky Rod.
I think we did that. We felt that same way about that face crank. For a long time, I trained, and it's like, you don't want to do that. You want to get a clean choke.
Yeah.
But then you realize, like, that's part of the game.
Yeah, my coach, Clint Heinrich, describes it as a gentleman's defense because it only works if the other guy's being a gentleman.
Now, if John Cooper is able to escape this, he will advance.
you know Sanchez is not going to be getting that body triangle.
No.
So he's going to have to hold him the old-fashioned way.
He's going for an arm triangle, it looks like, maybe.
And Cooper is out.
Cooper is out.
And John Cooper's going to move on to the finals, ladies and gentlemen. So it's going to be Griffin, Liam Bruno versus John Cooper in the finals of this open weight tournament.
I believe those gentlemen are 1-1 against each other in jiu-jitsu competition. They've never competed here in New Line before, but they have competed at Butch Hiles tournaments
And
a couple times.
It's interesting. It proves the point. We've got an open weight tournament. We didn't have heavyweights end up in the finals. We had two guys that are smaller guys.
Yeah, in jiu-jitsu, especially with the short time limit, I think if if we had like a 30-minute time limit, I think we might have seen Wes, maybe be able to find a finish. But
in overtime, and moving on to the finals to meet Griffin, Lee, and Bruno, Jonathan Cooper.
I think that's definitely something that needs to be said. That match would have been a lot different if we didn't have the EBI rules.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, like if we were, and Griffin was pacing himself like he had overtime, so it's always.
Say I'm good-hearted, but I'm just getting started. Got my eyes on the target.